Now, we all knew that Spider-Man 2 was going to be a good game, but the real question was just how good was it going to be? And after completing the story and clearing out the entire map, I'm here to report that this game is really, really fucking good. Now, I won't be talking about the story in detail other than what's been shown off by Insomniac, as it is truly best experience firsthand on your own, and I don't want to deprive you of that experience. What I am going to talk about is the game and what I think it does better than the previous two Spider-Man games, and how it improves on all the aspects, whether that be the free roam missions, the side content, and the MJ segments. Yes, they're back, but they're actually a lot of fun this time. I would say it is a requirement to have played both the first game and the spin-off Miles Morales, as both Spider-Men play an important role in this story. While that might seem like a bit of a task to ask, it is no doubtedly something that you will come to appreciate as the two stories of these Spider-Men interconnect within this story, as you switch off between Peter and Miles.
Go help him.
This was our dream. I'm not going to lose him.
Let's do the technical block, which I think it's kind of weird to do a technical block, as this is the first game I think I'm reviewing that's not on PC, so we'll see how that goes. And I do apologize if the footage looks a little weird. I had to do some USB transfer type stuff with the PlayStation 5, so I did my recordings with the HDR on, so that might be why some of the footage looks a little weird. But I went ahead and I played this on the PS5, and I ran it at the performance mode, and it was a pretty solid 60 FPS for the most of the time. There are a few times where I was swinging around and the game would dip a little bit in some instances, but nothing that was too noticeable, just kind of a little bit here and there. One issue that I did run into multiple times was where a button prompt would appear for me to progress a quest or move on to the next section, but it wouldn't allow me to. There would never be the triangle prompt to appear, so I unfortunately would have to reload that and then continue there. And as I worked my way to go throughout the 100%, it did start to appear more and more, which got frustrating, but like I said, nothing that couldn't be fixed with a simple checkpoint reload. I've seen a lot of console wars on Twitter lately with Starfield and now Spider-Man, and people are going out of their way to post all these small bugs, labelling the game unbroken or finished, when really these are just bugs that are bound to happen. What Insomniac did here with Spider-Man 2 is incredible. When you look at the game from a technical aspect, there is no version of this game that exists without ray tracing, because they said there's no reason to turn it off. If that isn't a flex, I don't know what is. Fast travel, that's a flex, because you can basically go anywhere on the map so long as you've completed enough activities in that district. And just here's a little demonstration to show you how that fast travel works. But I think with how good the game looks and some of the stuff that they pulled off technically, we can cut them some slack for just a few small minor bugs that really don't impact the game itself. And we haven't even gotten to the good part yet, the story. Like I said earlier, I won't be showing anything in the story that hasn't already been shown, so I will be speaking more so in broad terms. I will not be showing you Venom at all, because all that stuff is absolutely batshit crazy. But the story of Spider-Man 2 picks up shortly after the events of Miles Morales, as we see Peter coming into his role as a teacher, and Miles one of his students in and outside of the classroom. The intro is pretty awesome as it sees you swapping perspectives seamlessly as you fight Sandman, and this version of Sandman is as tall as some of the city skyscrapers in New York City. And you really do get a sense for scale in this fight when he launches Miles across the map and he flings himself back towards Sandman.
I'm working on it!
I knew that after this intro, Insomniac really went back to the drawing board and said, how do we make something that is already great better? After dealing with Sandman, you're introduced a little more to the returning supporting characters like MJ and Genki, and then new to this game is the addition of Harry Osborn, who is revealed to be in a stasis tank at the end of the first two games. In Spider-Man 2, he is out of the tank and looking to start up something called the Foundation. The dynamic between Harry and Pete is something that I wasn't really sure I would like leading into the game, because they built on it a little bit in the first game with sort of how he felt, and obviously Harry's his friend, but we never got that actual dynamic. It was more of they told us instead of showing us, and in this game we got to see that. Kraven is also introduced early on, as he is scouring New York City like a jungle, hunting down anyone that he deems worthy. Also introduced to the game is the symbiote, and when we're playing as Pete, we get access to the black suit and the powers that it holds. While I will show you some of the black suit and some of the powers, like I said, I will not be showing you anything related to Venom or that, so it's a treat to behold, and goddamn, it is a lot of fun to use. You really do feel the difference in fighting styles when you get the suit, and just how much more brutal Pete is with it. And now it's so much more different in his fighting style, where his With the webs, he's more acrobatic and he's more kind of swingy and tightropey. Whereas with the symbiote, when he has that on, he's just a straight brawler. I would not be surprised if he killed a couple people. It has to be said that Yuri Lowenthal, I believe, deserves an award for his performance here in Spider-Man 2. He's easily, this is his best take on the character. He'll go from being your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man along with Miles, and then the next minute he's giving us his best Bully Maguire take.
Let's go, man, before he gets too far.
No. He's mine.
You sure? He's got big teeth.
So do I.
He's not normally like that, right?
No. He's never like that.
The dynamic in how he plays Good Pete and Asshole Pete, as I like to call them, was kind of unsettling for me because I wasn't used to the character acting the way that they did, and I think Yuri's performance really sold that for me. At times it really did sound like his voice was going to break, and he did even mention that he did damage his voice a few times during the recording process of this game. So I hope he's all good now, and I hope Insomniac gave him a fat check for that. Najee Jeter once again kills it as Miles. This is his third time back as the character, and we finally get to see him come into that full role of being Spider-Man and what it means. And I didn't really think I needed his more comeuppance or grown story with him having to kind of balance work, school, and when I say work, I mean being a Spider-Man. It really showed how much he matured due to his past experiences of losing his dad to Martin Lee, as well as losing his best friend Finn at the end of Miles Morales. Laura Bailey is also back as MJ this time around, and like I said before, her sequences are a lot better in this game, and I think Insomniac did a really good job at making them engaging, and not just sneaking in stealth missions where you fail if you get spotted. Kraven, also really solid in this game. I know a lot of people weren't sold on him, but this is my first experience with the character, and I just have a feeling that the Kraven movie is sorely going to fuck up his character in my eyes, so I gotta give Insomniac some props. They did a great job. Lastly, Tony Todd as Venom. Dude's insane. That's all I'm gonna say. If you're familiar with the guy, you know he's got a killer voice. Enjoy.
Yes, we will.
We'll talk a little bit about the world design as well. While the map from the first game does return, it's also added the introduction of the boroughs of Queens and Brooklyn. While I've seen a lot of complaints that people believe that they've just kind of been added for the sake of giving us more New York City, I'd have to disagree. These areas are important to the characters that are within the story, like Brooklyn, where Miles attends class, and then you have Aunt May's old house, which Peter now lives in Upper Queens. The verticality in these areas is much different than that of the main island and takes advantage of the wingsuits that both Spider-Man now have access to. Both Peter and Miles will share a certain skill tree and then have their own tailored upgrades section for each of their characters respectively. Miles has his Venom powers from the last game with a slight upgrade and a cool color change. Peter now has created the Iron Spider arms and has access to them at all times, as well as the tree for the symbiote powers. They also share the same suit upgrades like health and traversal, as well as multiple gadgets you unlock as the story progresses. Unique to each Spider-Man though is a metric shitload of suits for you to unlock, and I really mean that. I think Brian Intar said it's somewhere around 200 total combinations with the different colorways and suit designs. You have everything from the OG suit from the first game for Peter, or you have Tom Holland's suit from the end of No Way Home. Then you have Miles in his 2099 outfit, as well as his Into and Across the Spider-Verse suits, allowing you to dress up with all the 24 frames of goodness. Not all the suits are going to be ones that I wore, but there are a lot of cool ones just to try on and take for a spin, but you'll more than likely come to find a few favorite outfits that you haven't seen in a long time. Now I know this is a lot different review. Normally my reviews are more structured and formatted where I will talk about each individual aspect of the game, but I think Spider-Man is just play it. Just play the damn game. If you've played the first two games, this is no doubtedly going to be a game in my mind that you'll love. There is so much that I'm purposely not talking about because I best believe that it is experienced on your own, spoiler free, which I thankfully was able to do. Next up, Insomniac has the Wolverine game that is currently being worked on, and I believe after that game comes out, the odds of them making or working on a Spider-Man 3 or a smaller spin-off game are very likely at this point. With the game selling 2.5 million copies in its first 24 hours, it became the fastest selling PS exclusive ever in that time period, and a continuation is all but assured at this point. Just give Insomniac the time to cook up a good story and game like they did here, and I think we'll be more than happy to wait. And if you haven't already played it, go out, buy it, play it, beat it again, platinum it, buy a copy for your friend. It's a ton of fun. It's so much fucking fun. That's fun. That's the best way I can describe it. So this has been a really weird, rambly review, but I had to talk about it. I had to do one for Spider-Man. So I'll be doing Alan Wake 2 next. That is up on the table. And then I will be doing a review for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3's campaign, and possibly the multiplayer, but the campaign for sure. So if you did make it this far, I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day. And this has been my review for Spider-Man 2. Thank you for watching.